Hey Crawford, you've had a lot of tremendous knockouts. You've been on this knockout spree. Where would you rank this particular knockout in your career?
Well, it's up there. I had a lot of spectacular knockouts earlier in my career. But this is top 5.
So we all do know that Terence Crawford had a fight on Saturday. His fight opponent was David Avanesyan. Now, I'm laughing because David is not a bad fight. He's not. The wins 29, wins by KO 17, loses 4. He's not a bad fighter for a D-list fighter. We all do know that Crawford is an A-list type of boxer. Now, Crawford to me is one of the best fighters out there, and I never said anything different than that, so I don't want nobody coming for my neck. But the point is, I think Spencer's a great fighter, too. I think all these guys are great fighters, great high IQ, but I think Ennis need to be up in that ranks as well. Because Ennis' athleticism in the ring with Crawford on this particular night, I think it would have been phenomenal to see these two fights, especially when we get a chance to see him and Spence fight. I think it would have smoothed things over temporarily between him and the fans and what everybody wants to see right now. Now, Ennis is a bad pound-for-pound fighter. I mean, this guy got speed and power in both hands and footwork to match the high IQ of Crawford. I think it would have been worth $39.99 to see this particular fight between these two. And also would have helped Ennis bring up his status as a B fighter to an A-list fighter. And I think it would have been worth it. So Ennis had a interview with Boxing Scene. And actually, he was really surprised, like everybody else, that he didn't get the opportunity to fight Crawford. This is exactly what he said. Ennis, like the rest of the boxing world, was left dumbfounded when given the news. More than anything, the rising contender was under the impression that another former world champion was likely to be given the opportunity, not Avanesyan. I was surprised, said Ennis, during an interview with YSM Sports Media. I didn't think he was going to fight him. If anything, if he wasn't going to fight Spence, I thought he was going to fight Keith Thurman. And there you have it. What I'm starting to notice about the male fighters is that there's so much prestige and pristine about being the A-list fighter. And they've taken to the social media platform, fighting and talking and arguing with other A-list fighters. Instead of you guys talking and fighting, why don't you fight each other in the ring? I think it's becoming a pattern. I think people are starting to notice it. And what I'm noticing also is that they're fighting these C and D-list fighters to give them some sort of irrelevancy in the public's viewing. Now, people are starting to pick up on that, and these paychecks are coming huge to these A-list fighters, and these people who are taking these fights on with these C's and D's, they're getting a few millions in their pocket, so why not take the fight? It's going to put me back out there and somewhat, even though I may lose, but okay, I'll lose making $3 or $4 or $5 million in my pocket. And I think this is becoming a pattern that we're starting to see in the male boxers. And Eddie Hearns, I'd say that his word is God, but he does speaks on that.
Boxing is so messed up with fighters who are making too much money that don't represent their commercial value. I was guilty of that when we came into America. But these guys would rather not fight. It tells you how much they love the sport and care about their legacy, where really they're just happy to just drive around in Lamborghinis and not really get in the gym.
Because there's a lot of money involved, and everybody want to be their own promotional team instead of leaving it to the right promotional team or get with the right promotional team. There's only going to be one Mayweather. You may can get a few of them out there, but everybody can't be the next Mayweather. It's impossible. You don't have the mindset for that. Stick with what you know. You're still going to get paid. You may not become a $1 billion fighter like himself, but the point is you know how to manage his business. Everybody want to follow his footsteps, but trust me, in his footsteps, you see the king who wears that crown wears it very heavy. Everybody's coming for his neck, making memes about him, talking about he's not all this, that, and the other. Regardless, he's where he's at, somewhere where most of these fighters who talking negative about him wants to be and can't be, because eventually they're going to take a bad fall, and next thing you know, they're climbing back up a ladder underneath some Thai promotion team who's trying to get their name out there. But nonetheless, leave your comments below. Let's talk about it. I think it's a really interesting conversation to talk about. I think it's becoming a problem with the male boxers that they're taking these big fights with these C and D and possibly F fighters, put money in their pocket, and to keep them irrelevant to us. Let's talk about it. Leave in the comments below. On that note, boom!